feel the fear and do it anyway. I always tell people, you gotta do it scared. It's okay. Travel content creator Dyllan Anthony recalls hating flights so much that if she had to go beyond 2 hours, she would need medication. Well, here she is with us this morning, having traveled all across the world now, and she zooms in to talk about conquering her fear of flying and creating the life she wanted through travel. Good morning, Dyllan. How are you?
Good morning, Simone. Thank you so much for having me.
It's so good to have you. Which part of the world are you in this morning?
Right now I'm in San Francisco.
San Francisco. I want to go to San Fran. I want to go to Cali. Cali's on my bucket list. I've never been. You know, so you make it sound so easy.
California.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so tell me, you were here after high school, you left Jamaica. You weren't keen on leaving Jamaica.
No.
No, you never
want to leave.
Did not want to go to foreign. How was that flight, traveling from here to foreign? Because I know you hated flying.
So I still hate flying, you know, it's not actually a fear I've conquered quite yet. But that flight leaving from home to the States, I thought that I was just going to visit my mother for the summer. So I was not fully aware that that was me migrating.
Wow. Okay, it must have been fun when you heard about that. And then you were there for a long while, Dyllan, and then you came home. You visited some places, including Wise Falls, and you said to yourself, my gosh, I'd live and lived where so many people vacation, and I don't know this country the way I ought to know this country. What did that spark in you? And is that how the desire to learn more about Jamaica and other places in the world, is that where that came from?
That's exactly where it started. It's a mix of coming back home and realizing how gorgeous, like I'm still in awe of our country. There's always something to discover, and thinking like this was up the road and I never went. And there are things in St. Andrew that are gorgeous that I just never saw. And I thought I've actually taken that everywhere I've been, even where I live. I'm very much dedicated to being a local tourist.
Excellent.
So that was kind of the spark.
So outside of local tourists, my girl, I don't know. You just need to buy a private jet and call it George and just drive where you want to go when you feel like it, because you've been everywhere. How did you decide how the bucket list was going to shape up? Because you've been, well, first of all, you tell us where you've been. There's one particular area that's left a lasting mark on you and you want to go back. But tell me about some of your travels.
So I've been to a few places in my mind. Of course, I'm not sure if it's the modesty. I feel like I haven't scratched the surface. But Mexico is always just, I can never get enough of Mexico. The Middle East, specifically Egypt, was very eye-opening and inspiring for me to visit. But I've been to a few places from the Middle East to Europe to Asia to places in the United States. And I'm a very big road trip person. So I will jump in a car and go somewhere for a day to 2 days to 3 days, even by myself.
Yeah, and let's talk about Africa. Let's talk about Africa. Cape Town mesmerized you.
It sure did. To me, that's the most beautiful place I've ever been. And funnily, I ended up going to Africa because of the first solo trip I took with Kontiki. I met a young lady from Africa there, and she invited me to come and visit her. And that's how I ended up in Johannesburg, and Cape Town was she being my host there. And I was just godsmacked. What's
the beauty of Cape Town for you?
For me, a lot of it is the landscape. People always say when you go to Africa, as a Black person, you feel this sense of coming home and all of that. And there is a little bit of it. I don't know why that is, but you feel like you have returned to your motherland. A lot of it too was getting rid of ignorance, which travel does a lot of that for you. For a long time before I went to Africa, everything you hear is Africa poor and feed the children and they're sick and in need. And you go there and you're like, no, Cape Town is lit.
Yeah, Joburg is litter. Yeah, the place is like amazing. And then also on my bucket list that you've been to, Santorini.
Greece is, what's funny, you know, when I went to visit Greece was kind of on the tip of their economic downturn. And so we're actually passing refugees and everything through Athens to get to Santorini. and just the spirit of the people going through all of that and everything. They were still trying to make sure that the tourists were welcomed and well taken care of and not, I don't want to say disrupted, but it's just the spirit of the Greek people and the pride that they have in keeping Santorini, Athens, all of that well kept is just so inspiring. And it's just a beautiful place.
So what has this bug and this love of travel and this ability to travel, what has it taught you about life, about existing, about, just who you are?
You know what's funny? For me, travel is a small part of my whole life philosophy. So as you may know, I'm a nurse and I work in critical care.
You're a travel nurse.
And yes.
Yeah, so it ties right in, miss.
Yes, it does. But I'm always in this space where, unfortunately, I get a front row seat to people's despair and the questions that they ask themselves or their family ask about their end of life, what I should have done differently, what I wish I didn't do, what I wish I did more of. And I keep hearing the same things, and it pushes me constantly to be like, you know what, I'm going to experience the best of every minute. I'm going to try to make the best of every minute. I'm very familiar with the idea that time is finite and I want to make the best of it.
That's such a great answer. That brings me to this book that was written by this nurse. What's her name? What's her? 5 Regrets of the Dying. Do you know that book?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, and one of them is that they wish they had lived more and done the things that made them happy more. So I can understand how being face to face with that every day, Dyllan, it would fuel your passion to do what brings your heart happiness. How are you managing with the travel? No, because Egypt and them places are not near. How are you managing with it?
To be honest, I do have prescribed medication for long flights, and I tend to go with people who are very supportive and will allow me to squeeze them hand and lean on them, and I'm just a mess, and I have a good support system when I'm flying.
But I love that you're pushing past it so you can realize the dreams that you have. It's a great takeaway for all of us. What is left to explore? Where do you want to go that you have not yet been?
I would love to go to Iguazu Falls.
So where, please? Where is that?
Iguazu Falls. It's between Argentina and Brazil. I still haven't been there.
Okay.
I'd love to go to Japan. I'd love to see Japan. I'd love to go to certain parts of China that I haven't been to. I want to go to Croatia. The list is so long. Yeah. Philippines, for sure. The Philippines is on the top of my list.
So when you go to all of these tropical, lush, jungle, forest areas, you know, it's enough iguana?
Not really, no, but I lived in Florida most of my life, so there's iguanas all day.
Okay, yeah, you don't need to go far.
I don't need to go far for that.
And when will you next be home? And what's your next home adventure?
I'll be coming back home in August. I try to come home pretty often. I am a huge Portland ambassador. I can't get enough of Portland. There's always a part of Portland to explore. It has over 40 waterfalls, and I think I've maybe seen 10. So I'm going to try to get every last one off my list.
Yeah, awesome. And your advice to folks who have that passion but are afraid of something, an element that just keeps them from doing what it is that they want to do, that their heart tells them, I need to do this before I go. What is your word to them?
My word is to start small. You don't have to eat the whole elephant at once. You know you want to travel, you think finances are holding you back, time is holding you back. Take our day road trip. Go somewhere for a few hours in the morning. The first trip doesn't have to be a 6-night, 7-day across the world trip. And the more you put those boundaries of discomfort and you realize, on the other side of this, it was actually a beautiful experience, it will incentivize you to keep going further and further and doing more and seeing more.
You speak of my language, Dyllan Anthony. You speak of my language. Push the boundaries of discomfort. And on the other side, you will see it was absolutely worth it. What a great story. Thank you, travel content creator. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, wonderful. Man. Lovely catch up. Dyllan Anthony. Dyllan, anybody you need to say hello to before we run? Quick time.
Oh, sure. Hi, Mommy, Andrea, Neil, all the people who continue to support me, everybody who follows me on Instagram. Thank you so much. I never take it for granted.
Awesome. Thank you, my love. Dyllan Anthony with us this morning. We're back in a few. Something to smile about. Key takeaways there. I hope you got them. Soon come.